welcome to the She Shoots podcast, Women Empowering Women in the Shooting Community, Season 4, Episode 46, Trap Triumphs, Competitive Journey, and Teaching the Future. My name is Regina Ruiz Ordóñez, and I'm from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. Oh my God, can I speak today? Apparently not. Pardon me. Joining me today, as always, are Deneen Tomlin and Casey Gavinchuk. But actually, Kelly's not joining us today, so I'll be filling in for her later throughout the episode. She's on some amazing holidays that she deserves very much so. So with that, I will thank our sponsors so we can get a move on. So thank you to Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, positively shaping the future of the outdoors. Every cent donated by rounding up at checkout goes towards helping Canadian organizations just like ours. Beretta, family owned and operated since 1526, and Vortex, the best in optics. If you have any questions or comments throughout the show, make sure to leave them in the chat box below, and we can ask them to Katie at the end of the interview. So before we get started, actually, I want to apologize for the fact that we didn't have an episode last month. We had a last minute issue, so we had to unfortunately miss that episode. So we are making up for it in December with the amazing Katie today. Okay, so it'll just be Deneen and I for today. So I'll start by going through Katie's bio.
Sounds good.
So please join us for an inspiring episode as we delve into the world of competitive trap shooting with the remarkable Katie Jones. With over 15 years of experience in the sport, Katie is not only a lifetime member of the ATA, but also being a former All-American Second Lady team member and the High Lady of Canada. Her extensive experience and accolades speak volumes about her dedication and skill in the shooting sports. In this episode, we explore Katie's journey from novice to champion, highlighting her incredible achievements in the challenges she's overcome. As a passionate educator, Katie also shares her insights as a hunter education instructor and certified CFSC and CFRSC instructor. She is committed to nurturing the next generation and shooters, emphasizing safety and skill development. Katie's enthusiasm for the sport and her dedication to mentoring others make this episode a must-listen for anyone interested in competitive shooting, for those looking to be inspired by a leader who is shaping the future of shooting sports in Canada. So make sure to continue to listen for her love for the sport and her vision for empowering future champions.
Wow.
Good evening.
Good evening, Katie, and hello, Regina. We are missing Kelly tonight, but she is on a beach somewhere, so we'll give her a break. It is also our last episode of the year, so we're wrapping up in style with the amazing Katie. And before we get started in the questions, Katie, I had the pleasure of spending time with you on the Gunny Girl calendar shoot. I was wrangling guns and fixing hair and doing things and had a chance to meet you. And it was such a pleasure to meet you and get to know you then. So I'm really excited to get to ask you a bunch of questions today.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So why don't we just get started with, who is Katie? Tell us a little bit about your background and about yourself.
Well, born and raised farm girl. We raised wild boar, goats, sheep, all that fun stuff. Family auto body shop. Pretty much don't go anywhere too far from the country. Stay where I am. Didn't really do anything too much with shooting until I was like in my 20s. Like it was just work essentially, just like those old school farmers. Like woke up on waffles and instant coffee. And those were our mornings, and like went to work until it was dark. Like it's just, I don't know. It was a great time on the farm until we decided to get into shooting, which got better. So that was always exciting.
Outstanding. And when was that? When did you decide to get into shooting? And then we're going to talk a little bit about transitioning into competing.
Probably in I'd say 09, 2010-ish, because I'm the oldest, so my younger brothers and my sister, they would all go shooting with dad, and essentially I just got jealous because they were coming back with trophies, and I wanted trophies because I was never good at any other type of sport. Like I didn't do track or any of that. Like nope, not my body type to do those types of sports. And then, yeah, I just got dad to start showing me. I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. We had those old school trap doors where you have to pull them back and like push the button under your foot to try and like practice, which is not ideal, but it's better than nothing. And then, yeah, I started with actually Olympic bunker in 2010. And then it was either 2010 or 2011 that I made the Olympic junior bunker team. And then the year after I made the switch to trap just because I liked it better.
Amazing. So it sounds like your dad kind of was the incentive to get you and your siblings started.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He came from like old school, like Wales in 1986. So that's a big thing out there. So when he moved here, he didn't know anybody that did it at all. Like it's not a big thing in general in Canada. And then he just met this random guy when he went to I think it was a chicken chef, I'm pretty sure. And he just started talking and the guy was going to the local range to go shooting. And dad's like, oh, and then, the story went from there. Like dad would have never met this dude. I probably would not be here. Like otherwise he wouldn't have talked to anybody. So
right.
It's crazy.
It's shooting is a small world. And I hope we're going to get to that as the episode evolves tonight. But you were talking about bunker and Olympics. So let's talk about what sport do you shoot?
I do competition trap shooting. So it's just, my sister says it's like watching paint dry. I love it. Like, each to their own. But it's just, that clay disc that's about 4 inches in diameter, goes 42 miles an hour at a set angle in front of you somewhere. You don't actually know where it's coming out, but it's somewhere in that general area in front of you, and you just give her.
Just give her. The advice from Katie. Quotable quote. Just give her.
Yeah, it is. Like, if you think it's such a head game, like if you get too much in your head, you're missing. Like, you just go. See the target, shoot the target.
Right. And that's one of those things about trap. And I think, Rahina, you've shot a bit of trap too. So it's consistency, right? Focus.
Yeah, like it's a big one. Once you got the basics, it's just, we have a saying in trap shooting where, say you missed a couple targets or whatever the case is. And the answer that a lot of my friends will give you, if you say you missed a target, would be like, well, you missed by 6 inches, right? Like the distance between your ears. So.
Right. That's funny, actually. I'm going to have to remember that one.
Yeah, we razz each other a lot.
That's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
How about training? Like how does training go when it comes, especially in Canada? I mean, like we know that it's very cold most of the year. So how do you stay sharp throughout those cold months, especially?
Like I attempt to do like gun ups, like just, fake rounds, bring it up, find a point on the wall, right? And just try and like get used to that swinging movement, but can't really practice the recoil benefit.
Yeah.
We like in our area anyways, we don't have any indoor ranges or anything. So it's really hard to practice. So my dad and I usually try to go to like, there's a shoot in Tucson, Arizona every like February-ish, like middle to end. So we try and get down there to be able to actually shoot and practice. At least it's something. But yeah, out here, like even if the weather's nice, when we can't shoot because we take our machine out of basically it's like a hole. There's a big square dug into the ground where we got a house that's buried in the ground where our machine is inside. So because it's all hydraulic, it doesn't work in the winter because it's too cold. So we always pull it out, we tarp it, it's put away. So even if we have a nice day in the winter, we can't really practice because we got no machine. So it's definitely difficult to stay warmed up, but it definitely makes you feel a whole lot better when you go to the States after not shooting for, like 4 to 6 months and actually win. So you feel really good when that happens.
I'll bet. So where are you located in Canada for people? I don't think you mentioned that. You said you're from a farm, but.
Yeah, from a farm. Yeah, central Manitoba. So like basically an hour and a half north of Winnipeg. So that's our capital.
And so what's your home club? Where other than you have a home trap range where you practice? What do you call
Lundar. It? So Lundar Trap Club is about an hour west of where I live. So before we had our own kind of setup, we were driving like an hour, 2 hours every evening just to practice for an hour. So it gets expensive like everything else. So we just, we just saved up and worked and was able to build our own. So now at least I don't have to drive as far.
Of course. Well, big shout out to Lundar.
Yeah, no, they're an awesome little club.
Outstanding. And so to Rahina's point, what is your practice and training routine other than you do gun ups and that kind of dry fire kind of concept. But what else do you do throughout the year other than going to Tucson in February?
Throughout the year, like once the weather gets nice and we get our trap in there, usually me and Dad go, we pick a day of the week. Like normally it's like Wednesdays or Tuesdays, depending on, what we feel like. And so we try and go out. So we have the family auto body shop. So we leave work an hour early. We go out and like shoot for a couple hours, and we try and do that every week unless we've already got a competition going on, because a lot of competitions that are smaller still run Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So I'm already taking Fridays off work, so I can't really take a bunch of time off earlier in the week. So we try and at least once a week get some type of practice in. Otherwise, it's not ideal to just go out there and wing it in, essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've got obviously a lot of competitions that you attend, both in Canada and the US. Do you have a couple of favorites you want to give a shout out to?
I had a blast in San Antonio, Texas a couple of years ago. Like, I was great shoot. Like, I also shot really well. Like, I love the club, like great time. I do obviously really like one of the clubs out here, Brandon. They host Canadians every few years when it does the loop, and Brandon puts on an amazing shoot. You got like Pat Lamont there, and he's one of the top shooters in the world. So like he tries hard to make sure those targets are good and everything's set. He's very particular, which is awesome. Everything is as good as you can get. So it's nice to have something local-ish. Anyways, it's 3 hours for me, but it's still nice to have a setup that I can drive to. So
what about some of those favorite shoots in the US?
I have so much fun. Rome, Wisconsin is really good. They have a lovely setup and a lovely campground. And they also a lot of us will bring our side-by-sides there too. So when we're done shooting, they have tons of trails. So it's not just shooting. It's just the, hanging out with all your shooting friends too. And just, gaining the friendship and those connections, which is amazing. If I didn't have that, I don't think I'd like trap that much, but I have such a group of great people that will help you out in a bind. Like I went and shot in, where was it? I can't remember. It might have been Rome, Wisconsin. And I had shot and I was in a shoot off, and everybody leaves because it's Sunday, right? So everyone wants to get home for work on Monday. And I'm in a shoot off, and like I've got no ammo because everyone had left and everyone shut down because I was driving. So I wasn't going to haul extra ammo with me because of the weight. And one of my buddies that were there, like seen that I was struggling, that I was getting misfires, and came and gave me boxes of ammos, and there was something wrong with my gun. And it was the first shoot I've ever gone to without my dad, because my dad fixes everything. Like that's not me. Like I shoot, if it doesn't work, my dad fixes. like I know
that.
Like I know the basics, but it's like a watch inside those mechanisms, right? Like it's crazy. And just everything went wrong. But I had my friends there to give me ammo. I had another friend there, Sean Hawley, like amazing double shooter. He actually loaned me his gun to shoot too, because I'm like I was just panicking essentially because nothing was working. And just having just great people in the trap family that will help you. It's just, this is the best part of it. It's the people make it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the shooting community has always been super welcoming. So it's really nice to hear that even when you're in a competition setting, there's people there ready to help you out when you need it. Talking about the competitions themselves, could you take us through the structure of what a competition would look like?
Like just kind of from A to Z, like getting there and what.
Yeah, like doesn't need to be super technical, just
Okay.
so that people can understand how, when you go to a competition, how it works.
So basically when you get there, ideally you want a pre-squad. So that just means you go online, you select the event, you select where you want to shoot, you just push all the buttons, and then you have to pay $2 per event to pre-squad, which does add up if it's a big event, because that's US. Normally I don't really pre-squad because I'm cheap. So when I get there, I just stand in line, and they have a computer system. You have a card that you swipe with all your info. You squad yourself. So when I go, I squad my dad and my brother. So I got to do 3 of us in one go. And then, if you want to pay to, if you run a perfect score, you can pay extra to kind of have a chance at doing that. And they split the pot. So there's all this options of like winning monies or certain trophies that you select all the way through. That takes a little bit of time. So get early. And once you get that set, it's really easy. You either bring your ammo or you buy ammo there. And once you're squatted, it's just, you have your paper. It tells you what field you're on. It tells you, what flight you're on, as in like the order of how many people are shooting. So One flight is a group of 5, and when they're done shooting, then there's a second flight of 5, and then it just kind of bounces down. So you just have this list, and you just know where you got to shoot, and you can sit there at your area all day if you want to, if you don't want to, risk missing your flight, because if you do, then you have to resquad, and I've done that, and that's a hassle and a half, because now you're running around like a mad woman because it sucks that you missed where you're supposed to shoot. But basically, like, the hardest bit is just pre-squatting and shooting, where you like, the position that you like, the time of day that you like, all that stuff. And once that's done, it's relatively easy. You can go shoot practice when you're not shooting, or you can sit in the clubhouse, or, go visit buddies in the camper. They have huge campsites at pretty much all these clubs. So it's just pre-squad makes your life easy. But if you're like me and like to make it hard, then, stand in line.
Nice. And so how would you say for like a newcomer that's coming into the sport, like how friendly, inviting, how easy would it be for them to try out their first competition?
Now that I know it, like when I first started, I knew nothing, obviously, because Dad never went to a big competition. I just had to start Googling because I didn't know anybody that did it that really went to the States. So thankfully, when we got there, like, the people there were just nice. As long as you were honest and you tell them it's my first time here, then they'll give you all the information you could possibly remember. But you have to tell them that it's your first time. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. And we just met a couple, his name's Mr. Hill. He's the first guy we met when we went to Sparta, Illinois for the Grand, and that's like 5,000 shooters. It's huge. So it's an eye opener and a half. So you're stunned when you get there because you're like, oh no, what have we got ourselves into? But as long as you go to those main buildings and you talk to those people that are sitting, with all those computers, they will help you. But I do recommend, please go like a day early or even 2 days early, because then they're not being rushed with all the people trying to get all their stuff done. And then they may or may not be rushed to answer you and give you like really good, clear advice. So if you get early, then at least you can talk to the people. They'll run you through the basics. And because they're not so busy, they'll also show you where the practice trap is. They'll give you a map. They'll circle areas, but arrive early. Because if you arrive late and you're rushed, it's going to be a little harder and you're going to struggle a little bit.
So you've talked a lot about people and the great people and the camaraderie. I'm sure through the years, Katie, you have not only had mentors and guides through the process, but you've become one for others. So let's talk about those people. Who are your mentors, and who are you mentoring or guiding along the way right now?
Well, obviously my dad's always been like my person. I've had a couple coaches or just people that I've met through along the way that have always been around that could help me. Like Stan Orr, he passed away, but he really good shot. Like, he was amazing, very rough Scottish man, but essentially when you do something wrong, he tell you, and he does not sugarcoat it. So you essentially you learn to just take it. And then like my friend Harry Humby, he was the president in Winnipeg. Like, he took me under his wing. He was so nice. Then just once I felt like I was at a level that I could give decent advice, because I'm very, in my mind, I'm never good enough. Like, stereotypical, probably most women feel the same way. But at some point I hit that level. I was like, I can actually give advice. Like, I've known enough, I've taken enough courses. Like, I know things. So I don't necessarily mentor anybody specific, but when I go to clubs and like I watch people shoot, I love watching people shoot in the different styles and how people, stand and hold the gun and move. It just, to me, it's so interesting. And I remember a few years ago, it was probably 4 or 5, and there was this young girl shooting, and she was struggling on certain targets, and I was watching her, and I was like, there's like a rule that you don't give advice in the middle of a competition. Like, you don't do this. So I found, I watched around and seen who else was watching her, found her grandma, and then asked her, I was like, can I give you advice, or is this like a situation where I can like help her out a little bit? Because I knew what she was doing to struggle with. And then your grandma's like, no, like, she wants the advice. This is her first shoot. Like, she'll take it. I'm like, okay. So I gave her a little tip, like just one tip, because like anybody, if you give them too much information, they're not going to remember half of it. And so I gave her this little tip and trick. Years later, the grandma had found me at another shoot, and I recognized her, and she came up to me and she told me, like, really appreciate that advice. She actually kept to it and got better. And now I see her granddaughter's like name on the scoreboard with everybody else's. So it's just when there's moments like that I find people struggling, and I know I can help them, I just make the point to do so, because if I was struggling, like I would want somebody to help me. Like, I want everyone to be like that and give that advice when needed.
Right. That's amazing. And now you've elevated yourself to a level that you have achieved recognition, not only through obviously some amazing achievements in the sport, but also through attracting sponsorship. Mm-hmm. So tell us, who are your sponsors and how do you interact with them?
Well, obviously my father and Arbor Auto Body, because it's family. So like, we have just always dad, because we got a camper. So essentially, they do like the travel and the fuel and the maintenance and stuff, that's a decent chunk considering how much driving we do. And then I got a gun sponsor, so Prosy Canada. The only reason I get half the stuff I do is because of my father, and he talks to everybody. Like, he's just that person, and he just talked to the right person and kept following that, that road, and met the right person that knew that my gun had finally failed on me and I needed something, because my gun literally broke in half. Like, I need something. So yeah, I got a wicked like sponsorship deal through Prosy Canada. I even got to go to Italy to get it custom fit and do the whole Prosy experience. Like, that was cool. Like, got to see it get made and like go to like, they have a library of wood that you get to pick the wood. It's like, this is so cool. Like, it was awesome. Like, they're pretty much like the main one, other than like, obviously, like my business sponsors, like myself. So like, ammunition and target fees, and like, that's also pretty expensive, just like anything else is going up. So thankfully I've got like my workaholic family and myself, and then Prosy Canada that was able to do that. I am a pro staff for Real Camel Girl too. And they just help me getting my name out there and such. And I help them with like, I write articles once a month and like little things like that. So yeah, it's a big family thing. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am. Like, there's no way.
That's amazing. And it is, you work with what you've got, and you've absolutely made it work for you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So along the way, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna ask, right? So when it comes to the actual firearm that you're using, because as what I've heard is that the one that broke apart was a beautiful firearm that you had, and it was very, very sad that you lost it. But getting through the process of actually getting a new one, right? What would you recommend people, especially women that are getting a gun, right? Also doesn't have to be super technical, but like, what should we look for when we're getting a gun?
I go with just, it depends again on like your body type, right? Everyone's different. For me, I like more narrow receivers, because I got used to shooting my dad's, and narrower I mean by like 2 millimeters. Like, it's not like some crazy difference, but when you hold the firearm so much, and essentially has to become an extension of yourself, right? So more narrow receivers. Depending on your person, I'm always like a longer barrel, because I'm just a very, very fast and very, all over the place person. So I need the longer barrel.
Oh, I think we lost Katie for a little bit.
We lost her.
The weight.
Yeah, frozen. There we go.
Oh, there she is.
So I'm back. Oh no.
It's all good. It's all good. We have you back. Dream is just a little delayed.
Okay. Yeah. So essentially, smaller receiver, longer barrel if you like the weights. But if you're a very calm person, you don't need the weights, right? You don't need that longer barrel. In my competition gun, for example, we added a copper bar full of, like, I think it's 8 ounces of lead. Like, we added weight to my gun because I'm very fast. I move too quick. I literally blow past that target when I'm swinging. So it's just, a lot of it's just something just a little smaller. And I do recommend, obviously, like a recoil butt pad, because again, our muscles are not the same as men's. Our bone structures aren't the same. So something just to absorb recoil. Because if you have too much recoil, you're just going to end up with shoulder surgery. And we don't want that. Like, that's no fun for anyone.
So for people a little bit more technical, we got some gun nuts out there. So you got a Prosy, it's a 12 gauge.
Yep.
And are you right or left-handed shooter?
Right-handed.
Excellent. And is it a semi-auto or an over and under?
Over and under.
Okay. And what length is the barrel?
I've got a combo. So I was single and a double barrel. My double barrel's a 30 and my single barrel's a 32.
And what about your chokes?
I have them fixed because with the Browning that I shot, it just, we're always changing chokes because I fidget, and I've been told by everybody to stop fidgeting. So when I had the Prozzy made, we put the chokes in. It's just a light full and full and light full. Like, just, it is what it is. Figure it out.
Yeah. So chokes are on board. You're not swapping them out. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, no, we're going to attempt it. Maybe harder now because I'm so used to us doing things a certain way for essentially 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
But, I'll get used to it just like anything else. Like, I'll figure it out. At least it's easy. I don't need to buy chokes if they get damaged. It's just, less to go wrong down the road.
Of course. And what kind of wood did you choose?
It's a walnut. Mm-hmm. It's got nice little like lines that go level with the barrel. It's really pretty.
I'm sure.
Looks lovely.
Absolutely. And let's talk about ammo. What do you typically like to use?
So depending on how much money I have saved for the shoot, me and my brother, we like to call it primo. So like there's AA diamonds, like there's our Winchesters. They're really nice for like handicap. So they're in trap shooting. There's 3 events. We got singles, doubles, and handicap. So handicap means you're further from the target. So you want something a little faster, that will get there, quicker. So we like doing that. Like I also shot Remington, Browning ones, like Fiocchi has a good one too. Like it's really depending on how much money I have.
So what speed do you like to shoot then?
Usually for handicap, they're 1250s. And then when it comes to singles, like just your regular 1145s, like for singles and doubles, 1145s, I just buy whatever's on sale, whatever's the cheapest. Because in my mind, it's singles. If I miss a singles target, I'm really not paying attention to what I'm doing. And it happens. Like, I'm not saying I run perfect scores all the time, but it's just, I don't feel like I need primo ammo for singles and doubles. I want that for cap. Like that's where I'm going to spend the money if I have it.
It's further away. It's got to be a premium load to get.
Yes. Like,
right?
But like, right. Altitude makes a difference. The type of shot they use, like, sure. A pattern's different. Like it's a big thing. I got a friend that does all the math and the distance, like she insane, but that's where I get my information from. So right. I don't have to do it. So it's nice.
No, that's cool. And you know what that says to anybody who's watching or planning to watch this on our YouTube channel later, that it's not as important to be fixated on the ammo, get a good speed and build your skill instead of worrying about premium ammo, to crush clay. So I think that's a really good message.
Yeah. If you're a newbie, no, don't be wasting money on primo stuff. Like, like get your skill, get your movement, get your follow through, whatever you need to work on. Once you know that, then by all means upgrade. But sure. If you have a lot of money, well, spend it the way that you want.
There's a limit, right?
Yeah,
so
Rahina
asked a really good question, and it goes into choosing a gun. And you talked about a recoil pad. I don't use one. I have not got as many rounds downrange as you. I shoot a different shotgun sport, but we can do a couple hundred in an afternoon, and you guys do thousands. So that being said, let's talk about gun fit and how important is that, especially for women?
So important. Like the amount of women that come and that I've shot with, and like, I'm teaching them the basics, and you can tell straight away, like, even if you don't know a whole lot, you can see somebody with a gun that doesn't fit them, and you just may not know how to fix it. But LOP, like length of pull, so many people don't understand how important it is to make sure the stock of your gun is the right length for you. Just like anything else, like you ride a kid's pedal bike. We all know an adult is going to struggle like no tomorrow, and it's going to hurt when your toes hit that concrete. It's essentially the same thing. You have something too long, it's going to be too whippy, too short. It's not going to give you the control you want. So it's like LOP is such a big one. After that, as adults, we can, figure out the recoil. We won't necessarily hurt ourselves, but LOP, like massive, to make sure you got that length of your stock correct. So I don't know if everybody knows how to measure it. I guess for a demonstration, anybody watching, you put the firearm in like the inside of your elbow here, and you lay the stock along your hand. And so this basically center of your fingerprint-ish should be able to hit that trigger. If your finger can't even touch the trigger guard and it's behind it, way too long. If it goes in front of the entire trigger guard, okay, way too short. Like you need somewhere in the middle of that fingerprint, and at least you got a decent start.
Excellent advice. And I love the riding a bike analogy. I think that's a good one. And the other thing that I've come across with my students is when they try and get in the gun and they're rolling their head over because they haven't got it, put in properly, or the neck is too long. So that's certainly another thing. But
yeah, for sure.
It's all about the gun fit, and women are built differently than guns are designed. Well,
yeah. Yeah. Well, a good chunk of them, like, anybody starting in any shooting sport, normally they're not going to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on a gun when you have no idea if you're going to like it. So a lot of like the lower end guns, not that they're bad, right? They're just made a little lighter. They're just a little slightly different. They're struggling with a gun that is significantly horrible for their body type and not going to fit them. So they're basing their like of this sport on something that's not going to work. So it's more of you should go to a gun club that rents guns that are adjustable-ish. So at least you can get a better feel than buying something for, maybe, I don't know, $500 or something that's just going to be straight plastic, no adjustments, and light as no tomorrow. It's not going to feel good.
Right. Yeah. I think that's great advice. Find people who've got lots of guns. They want to take you out, go to a club that rents guns, try. Don't try and overcome a handicap, which is a gun, before you learn how to shoot. So
exactly.
Great advice. So I want to move into this thing that you do, this instructing and this PAL stuff. But before I transition, I think Rahina and we love on this show to talk about, obviously, women in shooting sports. So before we leave your competition life, let's talk about the women that you're surrounded with and what it's like to shoot out there in the US and Canada, and what the women are like in the trap shooting sport.
The women are all amazing. Like they're all great. Like you're struggling, they'll help you, or you help them. Like it's very rare. Like obviously they're in any sport that you meet a lady that won't assist in some way, shape, or form, because in general, women, mother hens in most cases, we want to help. We want everyone to feel included. That's just, at core, in my opinion, who we are. So it's just like in the States, I have a great group of girls that, it's not a competition between each other. It's more of we want to beat ourselves. How'd you do? Oh, is that a personal best? Awesome. We don't care if we beat each other. We want to do better than we did yesterday or the day before. And then, when I go, I've got friends, her name's Sophie from Tucson, and we'll shoot together. And we're always like, can we tie? Did we tie this? And we're always bouncing back and forth. And the goal is to both shoot perfect scores so we can tie and shoot off. Like that is what we try to do. We haven't done it yet, but one of these days, because we want women in the shoot offs, right? We want women out there. So we try it. But it's just nice that no matter where you go, either, here in Canada or in the States, it's just, we want to be out there. We want to bump each other up. We want to see women on the line in the shoot off range. It's just because it makes you feel good, whether you're out there or not, to have a lady out there. It's like, yes, like this is just amazing.
Sure. And in your world, are there a lot of women out shooting?
It's getting better now. Like when I started, no, like it was me and my sister and, random couple other people. Like there was like nothing, especially in Canada. Like in general, it's not that big of a sport out here yet, but there's not a whole lot. In the States, it has definitely grown in the last, it's like 15 years that I've been doing this. Like it's before you'd only see random, groups of women. Now you see like squads, which is a group of 5 that go out at once. And you actually see many groups of 5 women, and me and my sister will double take, and we're like, no way. You wouldn't see this, 10, 15 years ago. It just was not a thing. You'd see a random woman with a group of men, and it just kind of sucks because we shoot different and our routine is different and just everything. It's nice to shoot with women because at least it's a little bit of a similarity there, to a point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I can attest to that. Both Casey and I have been that random woman squatted with that group of dudes. So absolutely. Absolutely. So Rahina, why don't we start talking about teaching?
Yes. So we know that you are a PAL instructor. So how long ago did you get into it? How did you get into it? How do you like it?
Well, basically I started shooting at 2009, and then people just assumed that I would know how to get the PAL, to which I had no idea. Like I was like, I got mine at 12 years old. Like I do not remember anything from that at all. Right. So I was like, and then just more and more people would ask me. And then I was, thought about it. I started Googling and looking up because I had no idea how to become an instructor. That's not how this works. And then that's when I met like my coach Stan, and that's where he had said that, oh, he can help me out. So I actually co-taught with him for probably like 3 years, I bet you. And the only reason I did that so long is I was a wallflower. Like right now, like old me seeing new me would think that this is an impossibility. Like I did not talk in front of people. Like I did not go up, like nothing. So I had to teach them for a few years to get used to public speaking and being able to not like, look down and, shake like no tomorrow. It took a bit. And then I just went and took my course to the RCMP. That was 3 days. I did that in, I think, September-ish of 2018. And then once I got my license, it was just, let's go. I want to go shooting. And essentially I have no choice. Like me teaching pays for a good chunk of my shooting addiction. So I have to teach. And it's interesting how I used to teach to how I do now. I'm definitely a better teacher now than I was, 5+ years ago. So apologies for anybody in my early courses, guys. Not that I was horrible, but I'm so much better now because I met so many people that helped me. They learn different. So I learned how to deal with different sorts. So yeah, I like teaching people how to use the gun. And, I teach the course in a way that, there is no dumb questions. I'd rather you ask me than Google it. Because essentially it's like Googling when you're sick and it tells you got cancer. It's just, no, it may not be that bad. I might be able to help you out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the thing with Google too is that sometimes they'll give you the rules for other countries, right? Not necessarily Canada. So you might get an answer, but it might not be the correct one for Canada.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's just, I really enjoy teaching a lot of newbies. Like I teach ages 12 and up. So like I teach the little kids that I teach are great because they want to be there. So I feel really fortunate that I teach courses to kids where they want to be in school. Like regular school, like it's probably a night and day difference. Like I got friends that
You're the fun teacher.
Yeah, I get to be the cool one, like the gym teacher kind of thing. Everyone wants to take my course. So I love teaching the kids and just of all ages. It's so much fun to get them into it when there's such a, gap, because it's not such a, like firearms aren't a big thing per se. And then they take this course and then all of a sudden you go get a license and you can go buy a firearm and go shoot targets. And there's no live firing. Like there's this huge gap between taking this course and going shooting. There's nothing in the middle. So I like that I can teach this course. And I know there's other instructors that do live firing too. There's just not many of us. So I like to be able to be in that group per se, that it's like, hey, come summer, because I don't shoot in the winter. Like, let me know if you want help. If you don't have friends or family that do shooting that you can't go with, let me know. You can come to my range. We'll do some shotgunning, at least get the recoil basic, because if you never handled the recoil of gun by yourself, knowing nothing, it could be a little bit of like a shock, and I don't want anyone getting hurt because that's no fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that you differentiated. We've had past guests talk about it too. The PAL course is a safety course, and it's all about safety and the rules that, to your point, Rahina, are in Canada about gun ownership and storage and safety and all the things that go with it. But then you have to take that big giant leap. And you're right. If there's nobody that can help you be able to do live fire, you're still a long ways away from truly being a safe gun owner that can go out and enjoy him or herself at the range or hunting or whatever your decision is for why you're doing it, right? So that's cool that you do that, Katie, and that certainly does differentiate you from many PAL instructors out there. So do you teach the RPAL as well?
Yep. I teach those. Obviously, got to be 18 or over and have passed the non-restricted first. So I don't teach as many as the RPAL just because it's just a little less common with everything going on and nobody know exactly what's going on either. But I teach a lot of private courses. It seems like people want it, but it's almost like, and men or women, it doesn't matter. They're almost like more nervous to take it in a public setting, which is interesting. So I do a lot of private courses where I just go to people's houses. They set up their living rooms as a classroom or their garages or whatever. Like all I need is a table and power. Like I bring everything with me. So as long as you can supply me that, like we're good to go.
So let's talk about that. That's such an interesting point that people don't want to do these public classes, but then they bring a group of friends to their kitchen table, which is semi-public or semi-private. So what's the difference that you're finding? You've talked about kids being like sponges But what about men and women, and what ages are you seeing, and what kind of people are coming out like to do this now?
Like all over the map. I just find in general that men or women, if they've never done shooting, they're obviously really nervous, and they, men on the side where, it's more male dominated with firearms, where I think they have this imaginary pressure in their head that they're supposed to be good. If you weren't raised with them, it's not expected, but I think it's just, kind of that norm-ish. And then women, I just think that they think that men know it all, so they're too nervous to go in front of men. So even when I teach the public or the private courses, we do little mini breaks where like you need to come up and handle these, like they're all decommissioned firearms with dummy ammo, and it's like I'll walk you through it one-on-one. Like I ain't doing it, you need to pick it up, and I will walk you through the basics. And it's just so hard to get some people to come up to the table. But once you get 2 or 3 up there, then all of a sudden the entire class will get up and go up there. But it's just hard to force them to get out. Like, you need to do this. But it's just interesting. For ages, like I've taught of all ages. I taught this lady years ago. She was 98. Like this amazing elderly, like she old lady. And she was really nice, and I'm nosy, like it's not good. And I asked her after she passed her test and her written, and she did great, like she did, to be expected. And when she was done, I was like, hope you don't mind, but I need to know, why at 98 years old are you now wanting to take this? Like, why? And she's like, I live on a little acreage and I have horses. And she's like, I got gophers in my field that are just putting holes, and my horses are spraining their ankles. And she's like, I want to be able to sit on my deck with the barbecue going and be able to shoot gophers off my deck.
Oh my God, that's fantastic, right?
I would love to watch that scene though.
Right, and completely logical.
It was great. I told her, I was like, when I'm 98, I want to be you.
Right?
Yeah.
It was great. And I've taught all nationalities. Like I've taught old dudes that were like 90, I think 96-ish, 95 might've been the oldest one. And when he came, he was just an older gentleman that just wanted something just for squirrels or, just varmints around the yard. And he showed up for lunch and brought like homemade bread pudding. It was so good. It's like just these random people that come down and you just remember, like,
right.
It's like, oh, it's great.
That's fantastic.
People you get to meet.
How big are your classes typically?
Normally they're 12, but I got my sister and my brother also to get their instructor's licenses. So when I've got an area that has like an influx and they've got like, I've got a waiting list going on where they like a particular date, I essentially just call my sister and my brother and be like, hey, which one of you are available this date and you're coming with me? And then we can teach up to 24.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. It's nice that I've got them on staff.
On standby.
Yeah.
And where do you teach the courses when you're putting your classes together?
All over Manitoba. So I teach, I fly usually once a year, once every, year and a half. St. Teresa Point flies me up north. So I go teach up there, like usually about 3 classes is the average. Cause after doing 3 classes of, basically 8 hours a day minimum talking plus everything else, I have no voice after 3 days. So I really can't do more than 3 in a row because it's a lot. And then, I go all all the way to the Manitoba border, to the west, to like Roblin out there. And then I go closer to the US border. I travel all over the map. So it's really whoever wants me there, whatever communities message me, whatever private people have a group of 12 that they can put together. I'm like, all right, here's my dates. Let's go.
Excellent. That's one thing I do get a lot of inquiries about, is where people can get their PAL courses or find people to shoot with. And because people from across Canada and other places watch She Shoots and reach out to us, it's nice to know we can send them your way if they're in Manitoba. So
yeah, for sure. Like technically I can teach in other provinces as well, because it is a Canada-wide course. I just have to get prior permission from like the CFO of that province.
Of course.
Like I can do it. It's just, if there's enough people to make, the travel, because obviously traveling out of province makes things a little expensive, but for a big enough group and it makes it worth it to pay for the fuel, or and lodging and stuff like that. Right. I like to travel, because usually when I do travel, I look for a shoot at the same time. So I go shoot and then I teach. So nice. I've done that a few times.
Excellent. Regina, any other questions about shooting that you can think about that we haven't touched on? Or about not shooting, excuse me, about
the courses specifically?
About the courses.
Yeah, I mean, I would say more so than teaching courses. How about, do you take any courses that further your learning, your career within the firearms industry?
Like when I go to bigger like shoots in the States, there are courses that like I call them the big wigs. So like the big All-Americans, like high team, like the really good guys, they usually run like clinics or stuff like that I like to attend just because I think you can never know it all. You know, there's so much to know. So if I have time, I like to hop in those and get a little bit more information. Or if I'm having a really bad, couple days shooting and obviously something's not right and I can't figure it out and I'm too in my head to figure it out, I go do those clinics and hopefully it helps me out. Like I've taken like first aid, like wilderness stuff like that, because I do teach, in the country. So like if I'm teaching a bunch of random strangers and I don't know what could go wrong, I like to at least know something there. Like I'd actually take a bunch of random things just because it's like a teach the teacher thing. I like seeing how other people teach and how other people relay information. So there's like I did a filleting one years ago through Manitoba Wildlife Federation, and I did BOW through Manitoba Wildlife Federation just to see how they taught and everything. And like really, I've only gone once because I didn't want to take the spot of somebody who could really use it. But I wanted to do once just to see how they run it and see, how it was organized. So it's, yeah, I do a bunch of random stuff. Like I'm a commissioner of oaths. I'm an officiant. Like I marry people. Like I do random things across the board.
Let me just get this straight. If you're an officiant and a shotgunner, you could specialize in shotgun weddings. Just saying.
Yes.
Just saying. There's a marketing.
That should be your logo.
That's funny. Actually, I never thought of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No. Oh, that's hilarious. So obviously very outdoorsy, except for not shooting in the winter. But and you've mentioned filleting, which is fishing. Are you also into hunting or sustenance and all that?
I do like hunting. Like obviously not against it. Grew up in the farm. Like I like wild game. I just don't have a lot of time for hunting. It's just from, obviously articles that you see online, they say that it takes, over 10,000 hours to get good at something. And like I tell my students, I do not want to ever be that jack of all trades, master of none. I hate that saying. So I want to at least be good at something. And I still know the basics about other things, but at least I can say I'm pretty like proficient at trap shooting. But I go with my friends when they go hunting, and it's nice to check something different and like watch it and help them. And like I've raised like butchering on the farm and stuff. So it's similar-ish to a point, but sitting in a blind for hours and being silent is not my forte.
Not your jam. Not your jam.
Not really.
Absolutely. Okay, before we move on to the last set of our questions, which are the recommendation questions for our listeners, what are we to expect from you for 2026? Like, what are you looking for? What are your goals for 2026?
The main goal, like I'm somebody that takes a long time to learn, but once I catch on, we're good to go. It just takes me a while. So like the new gun, I'm hoping to really have it dialed in the way that I want it. And like to get another leg on my Grand Slam would be really cool, because I've only got so get a Grand Slam, it's a perfect score in all 3 events. So it's basically a perfect score in doubles, that's 100, a perfect score in singles, which is 200 out of 200, and then handicap, which is 100 from the 27-yard line. So that's as far back as you can currently go. Mm-hmm. So right now I only have the 100 in doubles, which I've been told by my friends is the hardest one to get. So winning, we're good. But I'm really hoping I can maybe get my singles this year, and that would be just like I'd be so stoked. Like that's the goal. But obviously to do well and like trophy and medal or like that's always nice. But getting that next leg on my Grand Slam would be pretty cool.
Okay, perfect. So we're looking forward to seeing those.
And what about the big shoots you've got coming up this year?
I'll be in Tucson, Arizona in end of February. And then my dad and I will be in Sparta, Illinois for the Grand. And that's beginning of August. And then obviously we have the local ones that, we got Winnipeg, Portage, Brandon, Pembina. I know I'm missing one. And then possibly the Canadians. But again, I don't know if we're going to make the one in Edmonton or not. Like we haven't decided yet. It's not quite, I have an entire year to glance calendar right here that you can't see. So my entire year is basically planned and I have things circled in red when I know I'm going. Everything else is yellow until I figure out for sure what I can make work. So
outstanding. Well, it sounds like you've got some goals set up for 26. And I was just curious how much time in the US versus Canada, but it sounds like you're spending a lot of time in the Canadian shoots and really taking advantage of some of the big American ones. So
yeah, yeah, for sure. I try to really balance it out because I got great people on each side and great clubs. Like they're organized really nice because the people that run them care. So I try to really bounce back and forth as much as I can.
Amazing. Yeah. So best of luck, and we fully expect on the Insta or something to see that you got one more leg off your Grand Slam. So
awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the last area of questions are all about women in shooting sports. I'll toss it over to you, Rahina.
Yeah, thanks. So what would be your recommendations for ladies wanting to get into the firearms community, specifically into trap?
Into trap. So basically, you need your pal. Like, don't try and start doing this unless you got your pal, because it's just, you're going backwards. Pal first. Does not have to be through me, obviously, but it'd be nice to meet you. And then I'd find out what ATA clubs you have in your area. Like there's like ATA's Amateur Trap Shooting Association. They're Canada-wide and all across the States. There's tons of little clubs all over the map, and they run like little competitions, but don't feel intimidated about the word competition. In Manitoba, our competitions are like 20 people and you essentially become a family. Like it's not, hundreds and hundreds of people. You don't need to feel nervous about it. But once you figure out your ATA club, you just shoot them an email and just ask them, be like, hey, do you have fun shoots? A lot of them have programs like Lundar, for example, my home club. During the summer, usually on Tuesdays, I think they do just a shoot, like a how-to, and everybody's there. They'll help you out. You can get the basics before actually going to like a competition. So that's kind of where you'd start. You got to find the club first and figure out what they do. And a lot of clubs do rent firearms as well if you don't have your own yet, or they could give you good advice on one.
And then leading also from that, just as general as a whole, why do you think it is important for women to get involved in the shooting sports?
I love shooting sports, so it just makes me think other women would like shooting sports. But it also helps you feel better. It's led to like boosting confidence. Also, it's led to, it raises, what is it? It lowers the risk of like depression and stuff. Like it just makes you feel better. Like it releases endorphins. Very similar to working out. I don't really like to work out, so I can do this. So it's just. And I just find just from, having such a male dominated sport, and I do hope that, in the future that changes. But a lot of people nowadays, they like, men are so good at this. So when a woman can go into it and do well, it gives you that extra boost of, I did this, that extra like positivity, and you feel good about yourself, which I think is really important. Also, just in general, learning a skill and feeling confident in learning something else other than whatever your normal is always nice too.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Deneen, any other last questions before we head over to Casey?
I guess when you're out and about, what kind of things are you seeing that are encouraging women or young women to get into your sport? Like, are they doing anything different at clubs? Or are they having ladies' days? What are you seeing?
I've seen a couple more lady days than 15 years ago for sure. Obviously, wish there was more, but they are a bit to organize, and you got to get the group together, so it takes time. A lot of clubs are doing either ladies' nights, or they just do half price for ladies. So when it comes to ATA, for example, if you're a junior or a lady, you can shoot half price targets. So they're trying to make it more affordable, because a good chunk of the ladies are moms. Their money goes towards their kids or travel or the kids' sports. So they don't necessarily have the funds because everything is so expensive nowadays. So at least they can come and do that and shoot half price targets. And then it's not so much as a hit to the pocket, and it's more fun when you're not going broke trying to learn something. So there's that nice thing that I've noticed a lot of clubs doing, but not all of them do it. It depends where you go, but that's been a nice thing to see for like juniors and kids, like the junior programs, which is obviously boys and girls. In Manitoba anyways, there's an amazing program. We do a lot of fundraising. We try and make it so the juniors have to pay very, very minimal to at least help the family to make it more cost effective for them, in hopes that when, they get older, becoming, men and women, they will try and get back into it and, kind of help out as well.
Those are great ideas. And that's something I don't recall us actually being talking about on the show previously is we've talked about ladies' nights, but I don't think we've ever talked about reduced prices on targets or reducing the cost of entry to help those ladies get in. So I think that's great advice. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, no, that's a good one. I mean, one of the early ones was make sure there's a bathroom. That was one of the ones for women. So because peeing in the weeds is not a favorite thing of the ladies when they're at a gun range, or a gun club, right?
That's fair. It's also nice that a lot of clubs, especially the ones in the States, Brandon has one, but they've started putting showers in. So that's great. So then you don't have to go back to the hotel to go shower, or if you come to grounds with a tent, not everyone has a camper, and at least there's showers there that help. I mind you, that's for everybody, but I know most of the ladies I know, when we're done shooting and sweating, first thing we do is we're heading to the showers.
Right. So. Right. No, that's fantastic. It's been fun talking about trap. I'm not a trap shooter, but I've certainly enjoyed trap shooting, but I mean, I've never been in a big competition. So it was awesome to kind of see it through your eyes, Katie. And I really appreciated the chat tonight.
No, thanks. I really enjoyed talking to you guys too.
Absolutely. So Casey's back on. I don't know if we had any questions, or if Casey wants to regale us with her days at the trap range.
No. Trap, I always found I had a hard time staying focused. I would get kind of bored and I'd miss stuff just because I'd be staring off into the weeds or something like that.
Well, that's like my sister. She says it's like watching paint dry. So, but when I shoot, I listen to music though. So I think that really helps me out.
Can you listen to music during competitions?
Yep.
So
yeah, with Olympic Bunker, you couldn't at that time. They could have changed the rules now. It's been 15 years. Yep. But no, I shoot with molded earplugs that are Bluetooth to my phone. So I am blasting my tune, the same song all year.
Oh, should we ask
what song is this?
What's
I choose a different song every year. Last year it was a TNT, some like Thunderstruck remix. So that was a thing for a while. And every year I change it up just so it's just something that when the sound goes on to this particular song, my mind almost knows that this is what we're doing. Right. But it's a song that I do not listen to in like everyday life, because otherwise it's going to in my head, it's going to mess me up. So.
All right. Well, how do people get in touch with you?
You can either message me through my Facebook page, which is just a firearm safety. I have my email, which is katiesfirearmsafety@outlook.com. I've got my website, so it's just katiesfirearmsafety.com or .ca. I got both domains. So you can also text or call me. I'm always available unless I've got really bad service, or if I'm teaching, I will not answer. But I do prefer emails. I can give more information via email. I can send you all, the links and the websites and, how to register for this or events. I love email. If you text me, you will get the information, just not very explained. So email is the best way.
In brief.
Yes.
Great. That's very, very good to know. I think there's going to be a lot of people after they watch this, if they're in the Manitoba area, they might hopefully be reaching out to you and having the opportunity. And we'd always love to hear from anybody who's taken a course with Katie and is out there, loving life, doing whatever it is they got their gun license for. So
yeah, which is always nice to hear when students they shoot me a message and be like, oh, I got my license and it took, XYZ amount of time. Right. Because I like to know current delays too. And they're just, they're going out and they're like, I bought this, and they'll send me photos of what they bought. And what do we do? I have no issues helping anybody that's been a student of mine or anybody in general. It depends on what exactly it is, how much help I can really give you via text or email. But I will always help.
Have you ever had a student shoot out at your place? All your students come out and have a big shoot?
Not all of them, because I do live an hour and a half north of Winnipeg, and a lot of my students either super northern Manitoba or more Winnipeg-ish area. And a lot of my students that are from this area, we have the country, right? They have space. They can go shoot their own thing. They've got family and friends. So I find that I've had a few for sure that have come out and we've done little basics, but a lot of people that I teach, they already have their own space. And the ones in Winnipeg don't necessarily want to make the drive out here. So they usually go to maybe Winnipeg Trap and Skeet or something.
Right. Makes sense. Well, hopefully everybody gets out to a trap and or skeet and or sporting clays range in 2026 because it's
Or any range,
or any range. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And so with that said, thank you so much, Katie, for joining us tonight and helping us close out our 2025 She Shoots podcast season. It's been an absolute pleasure. And like I said, I had the pleasure of meeting you in person and spending a weekend hanging out with you and a bunch of gun girls. So you're an awesome person, and it was so much fun having you. And actually, it's just kind of cool because all four of us are alumni to that calendar.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool.
Yeah. So how cool is that? So it's our own little reunion right here on the show. So
that's awesome.
Absolutely. So Rahina, over to you to thank all of our sponsors for another season.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So once again, thank you so much, Katie, for joining us today. It was nice talking to you and learning more about your daily life. So I'll just quickly touch on upcoming events. So for the CUSF, same as always, if we're looking for volunteers, and I think we're still looking for board members as well. So if you're interested, please send us an email at submissions@cusf.ca. Also, if you're a student at a Canadian university that does not currently have a firearms club, you can also send us an email at submissions@cusf.ca, and we can help you with getting a club started. Normally, I would send it over to Kelly to tell us about Maple Seed, but she's not here today. So I will just tell you that for Maple Seed, just go to mapleseedrifleman.com and you can find the information about their upcoming events. I think Kelly also mentioned last time that they're starting to put out the 2026 calendar events, so you can take a look at those as well. And then also, since we mentioned the CCFR, I'll just plug it in quickly. I believe the calendars for next year are out for sale, and I believe it's not new ladies, actually ladies from previous calendars that are forming part of the 2026 calendar. So that'll be really interested to see. Deneen, anything Calgary Lady Guns related?
I'm sort of like Katie. I'm putting the big calendar on the wall and finding all my colors to figure out what my priorities are going to be for 2026. So I don't have anything imminent coming up. Maybe a nice break over Christmas to clean some guns that maybe need a little bit of attention. But yeah, Katie's like, yeah, now we got some stuff to clean up.
Yeah.
So get the gun safe back in order and get ready for an amazing 2026 shooting season. So.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much. I'll just go ahead and wrap it up. So once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, Verda, and Vortex. If you like today's episode, please leave us a like and follow us so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you liked our message and would like to learn more about our programs, you can check our websites at cusf.ca, ladyguns.ca, and mapleseedrifleman.com. To support us and get some additional perks, check out our membership programs. Thank you all for tuning into the She Shoots podcast, Season 4, Episode 46, Trap Triumph, Competitive Journey and Teaching the Future. Make sure to join us on January 13th, 2026 for the new season of the She Shoots podcast at our regular time, 5 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. EST, 8 p.m. EST. We know the drill here, people. So to find out about our next episode announcement, just keep an eye on our social media. And with that, happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And we'll see you in 2026.